All right, everybody. This is, what are we? Season one, episode 5 of Digitized Live. You're going to notice a couple of differences in the show today. We practice what we preach. We're always testing and trying out new tools. And today I wanted to try something called jitsi.org, which is a free video conferencing software because I'm always looking for tools that people can use that are just available and free. So Kyle and I are both on. Kyle, good morning. How are you? And what's new in your world today?
Good morning, Kent, and good morning, viewers. Welcome back to Digitized Live, episode 5. Life is good. Life is good. Sun is shining. We are alive, which is always a good sign, given the circumstances. So I'm blessed every day to wake up and go, we've got another day to do this, and another day to support you guys unlocking your digital potential. And we've got a great action-packed show for you today. So over back to you, Kent. Looking forward to kicking this one off.
Sure thing. So one of the first things I wanted to talk about today, and Kyle, actually, you saw this morning. Yesterday, I had an inbound request, we'll call it. It came by proxy. So I'll share this first. I think it's a fun story, and it really does get to the heart of why we made this show, which is what you were pointing out to me when we were talking earlier. So my wife is currently we're all locked at home, right? COVID-19 pandemic. We're basically quarantined at home. And my wife goes to fitness classes. She really, really loves her classes. And frankly, we love her taking them because it's part of what helps her keep her sanity, as we also have the 3 children, and we're now teachers and housekeepers and working and chefs and all these different things here at home. But of course, the studio closed, right? And so she wasn't getting to go to her class. Her teacher from a little company called Hello Fit, look them up on YouTube, and they're running their live classes now over Zoom. But I was watching my wife do one of these classes one morning. I said, gosh, the audio is terrible. And so basically what the person was doing on the other side, Janice, she was using her like a small stereo and sitting it next to the laptop and trying to pipe the music through that way. And of course, that doesn't sound very good. You're a musician, Kyle. You know that's not how you do your line input. So so what I said was, I think I can do better than that. I'm pretty sure I can find a way. And so I recorded a video. You can see it here on the channel. I'll try to remember to put a little card in here to link to it when we do post on this live show. But the video itself has all of the how-to. It's a tool tip, and it shows you how to use a tool called Loopback. Your MacBook and Spotify is the tool I used to combine my voice through my microphone with Spotify output and give high fidelity, really great audio. So I'll be waiting for a report back from HelloFit to see if it's worked out for them. But nonetheless, I went ahead and shared with everybody everywhere. So take a look at that if this is something you need. In fact, maybe if I get brave while we're on the live show today, I'll fire it up and pipe some calming piano music in just for fun. I should be able to do it straight into here as well if we wanted to. Kyle, you saw the video. I don't know if you had anything else you wanted to add.
Absolutely. Highly recommend that you check the video out. It is, Kent once again has found an amazing hack that will just take your digital experiences to the next level. It's something I'm going to be using too, because even for myself, before Kent found this amazing hack, I was using, you'll see here in the background, the thing that is shining really purpley and bright over here is my JBL, which is what I use as some surround sound here. So even while we're doing our live webinars and we're doing our sessions and engaging with people, I actually do have music in the background. But what's interesting is that can sometimes conflict with the audio. I figured out the right levels to have it in my environment and to test with the audiences that the level is okay. But for most people, I'm sure as you can hear, there's like, it's a little bitty, it's a little grainy, it's a little choppy, it can fight with the speaker. But what Kent has been able to figure out here, which is really great, if you've ever gone to watch a live music show or you've ever been in any kind of production, you will know that there's some levels on a mixing desk that allow you to feed in another sound or some sound effects. What's beautiful with this is you just get to fade that music in and have it there sitting underneath like a really solid background, but it's very crisp, it's very clear, and it will just enhance your experiences. So please do check that out. It's super great. And well done, Ken, for finding that hack.
Sure thing. I'm gonna try it. I literally am trying to load up the music right now.
Nice.
I won't play anything too offensive, but you know what? This is like, I'm always telling people, just try it, just go live, just do it. So right here, right now, you're gonna get it live, and we're gonna see what happens. I'll go with the same sort of relaxing piano tracks that I was playing in the video. So here's one called, we're totally going to get a YouTube copyright violation if we do this, but it's okay because we're not trying to monetize this video anyway. So so tell me, are you hearing some lovely piano music?
Great.
Okay.
So now, now we have to speak with intention and mood and grace.
I know, right? I need acting lessons.
Live.
I need acting lessons. If anybody out there could teach me how to be a better actor, just give me a call, right? I need a little help there. But that was super easy. And if you want to know how I just did that, what actually is happening right now is I'm playing a piano track in Spotify. I'm combining it with my vocal track that's coming from my Yeti Blue microphone. I created a custom audio source called Yeti plus Spotify, and then I selected that as my audio source in this tool called Jitsi. Now in the video I used Zoom. It doesn't matter. It would not matter what I'm talking to you on. The same technique would work, and that's what's so powerful about it. But enough about that. Kyle, tell me, each week we're living this sort of digital life. Maybe one thing that has happened to you in the last week that I'm putting you on the spot, I know, but maybe one thing that's happened to you in the last week that was really impactful in terms of this sort of digitized life we're living now. It can be anything, work, play, whatever works for you.
Yeah, thanks, Ken. There's a list of about 50 amazing things, and I just want to call out this music is so good. It's like actually deeply relaxing right now.
I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it going. I turned it down a little bit, so we'll just let it play. We've got a soundtrack, copyright violations all day long. It's gonna be fantastic.
I feel like I want to go into my Zen meditation feedback moment, but it's this. So what I have found is one of my most favorite experiences throughout this past few days. There's two that I'll share, but one mainly is the amount of digital experiences that we've started to have as a family, and for me individually. Almost every night now we are having friends kind of join us for a digital dinner. Sometimes it's very last minute. Sometimes they're not actually sitting down for dinner. We've now set up a sixth place at our living room table. The laptop's open. If somebody can make it, they pop on hi for a few minutes. But one of my favorite moments was actually Sunday. My mom in South Africa is an incredible baker, and my young daughter, my 11-year-old daughter, is an aspiring baker. And what they did digitally was, and we haven't seen them for a few years. They live in South Africa. We live here. We just haven't been able to travel as much as we wanted to, just given how busy life is. And they did a baking class together. Grandma taught my daughter live how to make an amazing chocolate cake recipe. And while she was like, well, why wait? Let's do it now. And so we just, had the cameras follow through, and they got into the kitchen and they created this little cooking vibe. And she literally baked the cake right then and there with my grandma in South Africa. And my dad was watching in the background. Everyone was chatting. And we had this incredible multi-hour family moment. And from there, they just kept it going. And of course, for us, it was, late morning. And for my parents, it was like almost midnight. But it was one of those amazing things where we had this incredible moment. And I've just got so many examples of that, which is like just how much joy this is bringing, where we're now intentionally reaching out to people and saying, wait, we can actually do this. And the kids are getting used to it. Our family's getting used to it. And we're intentionally starting to interact with that. So that's a big one for me. It's now something where my family and I have, we've decided to try and link all of our family members together for one gathering. We're going to do a virtual gathering where families in Australia, New Zealand, and Europe, and the US and South Africa, we're all going to try to come together digitally to have a reunion, which we're always trying to do physically. But we never thought in the moment, although it's right here in front of us right now, every day we could have done it, for months. But it's only this forcing function of what's happening right now that got us together. So super, super exciting.
And I love that. I have to share two observations, because oftentimes when we have these conversations, Kyle, you remind me of things, and it's something I enjoy really most about our conversations. But number one is there's this thing called the internet that you and I are using right now, and we're live broadcasting out, and the internet has connected our minds, and then we're able to share these thoughts. It's a little philosophical, but what happened with the cake. So think about this. This recipe is something your mother knew how to do. She's got the idea, she's got the skill, the capability, and she has shared that over thousands of miles in real time with your daughter, and you got to eat a cake. So that is that is human thought transmitted over the internet, uploaded into your daughter's brain basically through a Zoom call, and then turned into a cake. The world we live in, the fact that that's possible. And yes, of course, we've had telephones forever. You could have done this with Alexander Graham Bell's phone, but it's different now. It's really it's easy. It's near free. So it's a near zero marginal cost, right? You have to pay for your internet service, but it's incredible. That's the first observation. The other is something that I would think of as local versus global. You and I both have extremely international families, just because of the nature of our lives and where we've ended up and how life has taken us and what we followed. Your example you just gave was extremely global. I'm going to give an example that's very, very, very local. And so my son, my eldest son, is in 4th grade, and he obviously misses his friends. He misses play dates. He misses being able to go just play in the park and throw a frisbee, and even seeing them at school. He actually misses school as a result, because school's very, very social for a child. And so I didn't have a way physically to replicate that. So I just started using Zoom calls, and I made up a name that was actually named by my 3-year-old, who every time he sees an airplane, he goes, "Look, Daddy, Rocket Space." So I borrowed the name Rocket Space from my son, and I created a Zoom call, a standing call every day at 2 p.m. to 3:30. For the last third of the call, they're allowed to play video games together if they want. But for the first third of the call, they just need to connect and hang out and be there. Not every child shows up every day. That's not the point. It's a virtual water cooler where they can run into each other. And it's standing. So it's been really amazing for them. I chat with all the parents last night over Apple Messenger, because it turns out that some of the rules that I had set in the baseline were causing an issue with other kids' schoolwork, and the parents were nice enough to share that with me. And so we modified the rule set for Rocket Space.
Streaming is on.
And now they're able to continue to stay connected, even though we can't do so in person at the moment.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think that one of the themes for this episode that I was hoping we would continue to cover, which feels like we've kind of launched into it, is this idea of digitizing our families. And I think some of the tips and tricks that you're talking about, some of the impact that we are currently experiencing, and just flipping back to the recipe, I wanted to share one other quick thing about this, was that one of the things that my daughter did, and I know we've been learning from your son too, is that she hustled me for a whole bunch of social media channels now. So she wants to own Instagram, she wants to own TikTok, she wants to like all these things that the girls have been, as they get into that, they're very socially active. The very first thing she did when she did the first round of these little cakes is she said, "Can I do it again?" And then she's actually made her own baking show. And she started to film herself and did that for her friends, giving away the secret recipe. So what's interesting is what you're sharing with here is that all these pieces is what's happening is that our families, our family unit are also coming together and bonding. But there are these very interesting moments where we are all, in some way, there's like a level playing field that's happening where we are all progressing almost equally now, leaning into this new normal that we're starting to find, and figuring out what the impact of digital, because for you and me as parents, we're always trying to manage screen time, we're always trying to manage how much they're consuming. Now all of school is online. All their social groups are online, their religious studies, their peer groups, their hobby groups, their things that they were going to do, even the classes that they were taking for like activities, like extra activities, everything is online. And so now that whole thing of like screen management is out. Now what it is around like, what are we actually spending our time watching? What are we learning inside of that digital realm, and how do we start to manage this? Now we have that seventh place at the table, which is a digital visitor, and that could be 10 people, 20 people, or one person. But it's suddenly, this is just a new normal for us. Well, who's joining us for dinner tonight? Like who's coming to our dance party now? Those kinds of things. So fascinating stuff. So digitizing our families. What are a couple things that you're noticing for yourself, Ken? I mean, and you've always been light years ahead of most people with this and with your family. I mean, at some point we have to share with the viewers just the fact that your family has its own token economy and its own virtual internets, and it's just crazy when I been to your place or what you share. So that's like, you're like the Jetsons, you're like the advanced the advanced version. But if you think about some things even from your world, what are some recent new unlocks as your family is becoming more digitized? What are some things you're noticing? What are some things you're learning, and how are you handling those?
This is interesting. My family would probably tell you they don't feel like the Jetsons; they feel like guinea pigs. But at the same time, but yes, we do have a lot of fun, and I'll even put a link to the TEDx talk I did called "Token Economies at Home." It's actually gotten. I've had a lot of people call me and tell me they're using that system now to manage screen time. I think this COVID-19 pandemic and quarantine might blow that up a little bit. It might need some revision, but such is life. One of the things here, and this is going to sound a little different, but kids are incredibly capable. Okay, sometimes as parents we helicopter them too much and we don't give them the credit that they're due, actually. So with my 10-year-old and my 7-year-old, I have taken them on basically as apprentices. And now when it's time for, say, my wife's fitness class, instead of me having to be basically the IT guy for everything, my 10-year-old son is now extremely capable of setting up all the AV necessary for Rocket Space, for the HelloFit fitness classes, for his own and his brother's school Zoom calls with his teachers. I don't have to do that anymore. And so the kind of the thing I'm observing here is that prior to this, this need, frankly, because while I'm in here, I can only be in one place at a time. What I realized was just how flexible and how capable a 10 and 7-year-old can be when you let them use the tools. Now, there's an issue here in that the more access you give, the more interesting they find. So in my case, for example, YouTube is all tied to a single account in my house. So when people, and it will happen, when people start watching YouTube shows that you don't really want them to see as a 10 or 7-year-old, at least I can audit it. I might not always be able to catch it because the teachers are sending the students recordings on YouTube. Well, anybody who knows what YouTube is knows that when you click on one thing, the first thing it does is pre-roll an ad. Let me tell you, that ad might be for something your 10-year-old or 7-year-old doesn't really even need to know about. And then it'll have interstitials that you can't control. And when it's done, it'll autoplay if you don't set this up the next thing. So I'm noticing that there's this massive invasion in my home of, frankly, content for my youngest that I don't really want them to see, but also there are limits to how much I can police that. And so the conversation has switched. It's, look, I know you're going to see stuff sometimes that you shouldn't see and that I don't even want you to see. Please just turn it off. And I'm finding that they are every time, right? You know, I'll look and I'll see, oh, this thing came on and it's 2 seconds. They know, they turn it off. They are self-policing, and maybe not 100% of the time, but enough to make me feel comfortable that they know right from wrong. And that's the best we can do to teach them anyway, right? You know, they're going to run into lots of things in life. So all this being stuck at home and being, we're almost 100% digital. I mean, we still don't eat the bits and bytes, but you know, it's intense, and those are the things that I'm observing that are really hitting me. And I'll say maybe one more quick one with my wife, maybe tech overload. Like, she's just had enough. She would prefer to go back to pen and paper at this point sometimes, you know? So those are the things that I think of right off the top of my head, Kyle.
Yeah, we've noticed something kind of interesting is that with the different age groups of our kids, because I've got 4 kids, so there's a different relationship that each of them at these different ages have to technology. What I'm noticing is that there's my eldest, who's 12 going on 13, or 12, 13 going on 25, is, you know, technology is just an extension of her personality. It's an extension of her network and her friendships. It's fascinating to watch that. She's very, very clear about what it means, and she's also uses technology as a creative platform, the same way we were raised in art school with pens and paper and paints, and we had to create things. There's so many creative tools with technology now that the coloring in and doing physical art projects is one side of it, and then there's this other piece of, you know, with filters and with being able to, you know, with the explosion of TikTok, what the kids do is they make their own mini movies, and they're literally creating sets around the house, and they are characters, and they film each other, and then they actually edit this all together, and they went away and figured all this stuff out and came back like, hey, come watch our movie. And there was this like 3-minute movie with trailers and sequences, and it's like, wow, like their creativity has just exploded about what's possible and how comfortable they're getting with seeing themselves and expressing parts of their personality. And then as it gets younger, it's very interesting that it's my 11-year-old is just very practical when she comes to it. She's kind of, it's balanced. She knows it's a tool. Like, so she's operating from it, not just from the social aspect, but she's like, got her lap. Her, she's big.
I think we might have lost Kyle. I'm not sure. This is what happens when you try new tools live. He
also just wants to.
Yeah. Hey, Kyle. I don't know if you can hear me. I believe we might be having a little bit of connectivity issues on your side. So if you're hearing me, we are coming into the last couple of moments here in today's show. Anyway, we're at about 22 minutes. So hopefully you can jump back on just in a second. But for now, what I'll say is that today's show has been all about kind of the impacts of all of this digitization on your family. And we've been talking about different things that have happened to us, right? It's just very personal. And then also we've got sort of the sharing of a tooltip. So the tooltip is one of the things that I'm using right now to stream live audio into the show. I'm going to kind of crank up the volume a little bit more on the piano music as we begin the process of outro. And Kyle, did you manage to reconnect there? Yeah, I think Kyle's having some network difficulties on his side. So not to worry, he's still there. promise. And we will I will summarize. So today we talked about a number of different things in terms of your digitization of your family life. It really is overarching, right? And it affects everything, business and personal. I hope you enjoyed today's show and that you enjoyed the tooltip. And if you do have it, that was for Mac only, sorry, Windows users. And then next week, I'm hoping to come back with even another set of technologies that we're testing here at Digitized Live that I am super, super excited about. Not going to let the cat out of the bag there yet on what it all is, but it's going to really magnify our capabilities to not only produce this show, but to produce shows for others. So a couple of quick call outs on things that we're up to in the world. Number one, there's a huge event coming up called EXO World. You can find out more about that at EXO World. That's exoworld.live. Kyle just did a large interactive session today using some of the tools and techniques and capabilities of Digitized Live for a customer. And perhaps we'll have a future show talking about how we did that, and that's more on the business side. And then other than that, I've got another tool tip that I'm going to do a recording for, which has dramatically changed the way that I edit video. I mean, it's unbelievable, this technology and its capabilities. So I will queue that one up. That'll be another pre-roll that I'll publish maybe in a week or so. And we'll get to that. So these are things you can look forward to. If you're enjoying our show, please do like. It's the little thummy thing, and subscribe somewhere here. There will be a subscribe button at some point, and tell people who you think this might be useful for. We really do want to help, and we're really interested in hearing how it's going for you out there. So reach out to us and let us know. Kyle, I think you're back. Any closing words?
Yeah, sorry about that. There seems to be some in and outs today with the network, but again, all those things that Kent was sharing, Digitized Live, we are here to help you unlock your digital potential, and we are very excited to continue to share some really good clips. Please come back and look more regularly. What Kent and I are doing is we're starting to also not only take these longer episodes and break them up into tools and tricks for you guys, but we're also continuing to upload things as they happen in real time, because even for us with this, we are learning things every single day, and one of the things we're actively doing is just taking those learnings and putting them up here for you to be able to help you unlock your digital potential and really get your power back and start to be able to drive yourself forward in these incredibly interesting, times as you are developing your new normal. So we're here for you. Thank you again for watching us live. Kent, thanks for driving this one. And again, we're testing new things out in real time. So, and we'll continue to feed back how that's working, what we're doing, what we've done. Thank you for watching Digitized, unlock your digital potential. And we will go back to Kent and fade out with beautiful piano music.
Cue the music. Here it comes. And cue the interstitial transition. Thank you so much.